for making it clear. No, I am going to be walking around here. Don't worry. I am not important. It's this, what's stuff on important, what's on stage. So, I was just asked, how would you define what this is? I can't. Okay. Welcome to whatever this is. My partner's father calls it stand-up GK. I just call it a PPT presentation. That's it. But let's see what you get out of it. Now, the original full version, which is on YouTube and which I take on tour, is 90 minutes. But we don't have that much time. The next panel is here. So I'm going to give a very ultra-fast, short version of this. Okay. So let's go with the punchline is how a computer put 2 feet on a tall mountain. Now, we'll get there eventually. So that's the plan. Now, if you see this question mark symbol, that means there's a quiz, there's a question. If you answer, you get a prize. As simple as that. Simple. What's the highest point you've been to? First question. You can all shout out something. Also, when I mean highest, I mean in latitude. All you Bangalore people don't get different ideas. Okay? I'm talking about height. Altitude. Highest point you've been to the top of one, where have you been? If somebody from Tamil Nadu say, oh, I've been to the top of Kodaikanal. I've been to the top of Dodapeta, stuff like that. Oh, wow. Somebody's a high performance person here. Okay, so this is the list of all the tallest buildings we've ever had in history. Check that out. Starts directly with the Great Pyramid, because for thousands of years, that was the tallest thing ever. The next thing that came up was the Eiffel Tower, and that was like, what, 10,000 years? And since then, we have progressed at this is like, what a speed this is. 10,000 years between the first and the second, right? And a few hundred till here, and now we have this. Okay, I am literally above the clouds. This is a video I took from the 157th floor, meaning there are about 20 floors of houses and toilets above me, right? And they are being above the clouds. That is how tall this building is. But there is this fascination for humans for standing on top of tall things and looking down at people. I shouldn't be saying this while standing on a stage, but that's where we are. Now, oh, by the way, do you remember this? Yeah, she actually stood on top of the Burj Khalifa, and she genuinely was a stewardess on Emirates. And other than her, the only other 2 people who have done this is Will Smith and Tom Cruise. None of them wearing heels. So, way to go, women. Not only like cracking open the glass ceiling, but standing on top of it also. Good job. In heels. Okay, here's a question to all of you peoples. This is a map of India. I've shown the wonderful capital state of Delhi. Now, here's your question, right? GK question number 1. Which is the highest point south of New Delhi? Highest point south of New Delhi. Come on, shout it out. A nice tall place where you've been to. Somebody said on top of Qutub Minar. Okay, it's tall. Anything else? Dodapeta. Okay. I need even higher, even taller. Come on, shout it. There's no wrong answers. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm guessing you all have had like 6-7 gulab jamuns and you're like, anyone? Nobody's even Googling? Come on. You guys are too honest. Anamudi. Anamudi is the tallest in the Western Ghats. Well done. Now that's a guy who's come up with the right answer without Googling, because that's what Google would have shown you. But it's wrong, because the answer is our friend Mount Everest. Because true fact, and always come with facts and citations like we heard today morning, Mount Everest is 1 degree south of New Delhi. Okay, from Bangalore, we are closer to Mount Everest than to New Delhi. Okay, it will be easier to go to Mount Everest. Okay, fine, no. So Mount Everest is technically in a straight line closer to us than New Delhi is. Now, as long as we're talking about Mount Everest, we know these 2 dudes. This is Edmund Hillary, Tenzing Norgay, May 29, 1953, ascended and then landed on the highest mountain in the world. Now, this is a picture taken after that. This was in 1960. Now, this was the second expedition. What did they go for? This was a fully funded, government-funded trip. For what? The first trip was to Mount Everest. What was number 2? Collecting trash. Very nice. There's a lot of trash. There's more now. Kanchenjunga. No, it was to Mount Everest only. You know what? Now I have to say at this point of time, I am a scientist who works with rare disorders. I work with antisense technology. I write grants every other month and I don't get anything at all. It's very tough to get grants. You all know that, right? Funding is a big problem. We've been talking about this. These guys got a fully funded tour because they went in search of that thingy there. Now what is that? Yes, he went in search of it. He got a fully funded trip to go to Himalayas to search for the Yeti. I can't get even half of that amount to do research about rare diseases which is going to help humanity. I have to come out some way to figure out how the abominable snowman and molecular biology have something in common. But yes, this was an actual expedition because our man saw this the first time he went and decided, fun fact, this Tenzing Norgay spoke about this, and Tenzing Norgay's memoir, The Shwarappa, was what led a Belgian guy called Hirsch to write Tintin in Tibet. And so Tintin in Tibet is thanks to Tenzing Norgay. Fun fact for you. Now, did he find him? No, we didn't find a Yeti. But we did find this cute guy. This is the animal which is found at the highest altitude. It's a Himalayan jumping spider with one of my favorite names of all time. Now, people who read my quizzes know my fascination for etymology and binomial nomenclature. This is a Himalayan jumping spider, or the Euphoris omni superstes, which means I stand above all else. What a name. Imagine your scientific name is I stand above all else. Donald Trump is feeling very bad right now. He wishes he can change his name to this. Now, this is the list of all the tallest mountains we ever discovered in history. In order: Nanda Devi, Dhaulagiri, Kanchenjunga, K2, Mount Everest. See something interesting? These are all the tallest mountains in the world in history. All of them are our boys, local boys. Correct. They're all here only. Which is true, because if you took the list of highest mountains in the world, the highest mountain outside of Asia is 189. Okay, this is basically like the list of spelling bee winners in the US. You can't go through the whole list without coming to one Indian name. The names have more syllables than the Americans can even pronounce. That is how. So the number of things in Asia is higher, and that's obviously where we get to Mount Everest. Now, this is a screenshot of what Google considers the world's greatest explorers and geographers. You know all of them. Other than Christopher Columbus, who got lost and somehow gets a day after him, everybody else are actual explorers. That guy is just Columbified, as they would say in Tamil. Now, Mount Everest, right? One of the greatest things in the world. Who discovered it? Was it a geographer? Was it an explorer? Was it someone who tracked across Himalayas and went and discovered? No, it was a mathematician. That is the interesting bit. The world's greatest geographical wonder was discovered by a Bengali mathematician. That is about. And this is our hero, Rajnath Sikdar. Okay, now check out this. Yes, you can. Yeah. People on the live stream will think that it's for me, and I'm okay with that. So 5th October 1813, our man is born, and in the next few years, he managed to read all of these. Euclid's Geometry, Treatise of Fluxions, and this thing, which was written by Isaac Newton, which in that year, 1832, only 100 people in the world had ever read, and one of them was our man, Rajnath Sikdar. After having gone through all of this, in school, he comes up with a new method to draw a common tangent to two circles when he was just a teenager. Imagine having him as a classmate. Already my mom is like, hey, the neighbor's kid is doing so well in NEET. Imagine having this dude as your classmate. So, now, he was so proficient that he joined the Great Trigonometrical Survey of India as X, which is what his profile is. Like science communicator, molecular biologist, he had a profile. Now, 30 rupees per month he earned. What was the name of his profile? I'm going to give you a clue. What is this thing? Computer. Exactly. Who said that? Who said that? Well done. You get points. This is the Babbage computer. What year did it come out? 1833. Now, let's look at this. This is Mr. George, okay? And he was head of the Survey of India. And till today, he is responsible for the Great Trigonometric Survey of India. He saw Rajnath Sikdar, and he released this. On account of the table use of reducing biometrical observations to 32 Fahrenheit taken in the Survey General Office by Babu Rajnath Sikdar, Chief Computer. He was called a computer before the invention of the computer. Okay, now this was in 1832. Next year only Babbage makes a machine. Now when you think computer, what predates it? So technically he is a computer. So the computer is named after him. So this comes from a time in etymology when computer was anything or anyone that makes calculations. So I am not even going to decipher this calculation, that's for you, okay? So that's our man. Now, this is Andrew Scott Waugh. George says, okay, I am returning, tata, bye-bye. gives this guy the baton and says, you take care of Rajnath Sikdar. And they are working in this place when Scott was, sorry, Australia cricket I was watching, so normally. He realizes that there is a peak called peak 15 and he wants to have it being triangulated. And how do you triangulate it? By taking multiple observations from different heights, figuring out the blah, 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 mathematics, trigonometry, etc. And this is an actual photo from the archives. You know it's an official photo because there is no data on it. It's not scanned properly. I could have drawn with a pencil on a carbon paper. It would have been better. But anyway, that's what they have done. That's what we have here. Now, okay, now, imagine this. Rajnath Sikdar is sitting on his table. He's making calculations. He's got a paper. Our man is a computer, which means he doesn't make mistakes, right? He writes something down. Oh no, this is not right. Crumples up the paper, puts it away. Takes another sheet of paper, writes. Looks at it. Doesn't feel right. Crumples it, put it away. Takes a third sheet of paper. The first time he's ever to do the calculation again. Writes it and he realizes he's not made a mistake. This is the actual result. So he jumps into office and then a mathematician, mind you, comes and says, sir, I have discovered the highest mountain in the world. A mathematician who's after just doing calculations jumps in and says this. And they decide to name it after the bearded guy, whose name is George Everest. Very good. So this is George Everest, who was the first president of the GTS and obviously named after him. Now, interesting fact, I know somebody here is from Dehradun. Somebody who is here from Dehradun. There is a George Everest peak in Missouri, which is much shorter. You can go there in a share auto. And you can tell people that you've been to the top of Everest. Okay, it's named after him. It's George Everest peak, but nobody's going to know it on Instagram. So, yeah, good luck with that. Now, this is the official timeline of the discovery of Mount Everest. This is the official report. The following below the United Press information. So, this is official. Mount Everest is exactly 29,000 feet, but surveyors worried that the public will consider that an estimate, so they falsely reported the height as 29,002. Because Rajnath Sikdar, the result he kept coming for was 29,000. He couldn't believe that an actual organic natural thing was a perfect number. So when he told Andrew Scott was like, bro, nobody's going to believe you. How can it be a round number? Add 2 feet. Then only people will believe you. So the official, if you can see on top, it says 1856 official version is 29,002 feet. Thereby, which proves to me that a computer was first to put 2 feet on a mountain. Thank you. Now, first half is over. Karthik, we are on time. Now we have Mount Everest. And you know, it's one of those things like, oh yes, I've conquered Mount Everest. Let's see. Hi Karthik, have you been to the top of Mount Everest? Now, Karthik looks like a very fit dude, right? Not like me and all. He looks like he can do it. So he decides to climb Mount Everest, irrespective of, this is not a photo of Bangalore as much as it looks like. This is the top of Mount Everest. Karthik, $59,000 do you have? You can climb Mount Everest. No, huh? Wow. You should sponsor next year's conference, bro. Okay, so it's very expensive. Now, how many days does it take? It takes 60 to 65 days. That much leave they'll give you. No. Okay, so that's also gone. Okay, 2 months. Nobody's going to give for 2 months. Now, but let's say he managed to do it. He's got the money. Somehow he wrangled the leave. He goes to the top. He takes a selfie and posts it on Instagram. Closest to the sun, furthest from the earth. And everybody's like messaging, hey Karthik, bro, you did it, bro. I knew, bro. You're so fit to know. Obviously you can do it. All that kind of stuff. But unfortunately at that time, he also managed to befriend me on Instagram. And I'm like, hi, fact check. Sorry, you are not the furthest from the earth. He's like, hey, what bro? I'm on top of Mount Everest. I'm like, no dude, this is the mountain which is the furthest from the earth. This is Mount Chimborazo. Do you know which country it is in? The only country to get its name from its geographic location. Ecuador is the right answer because it's found on the equator. Well done. Who said that? There you go. That line is getting all the chocolates. Very good job. Now, somebody was telling the world is round before this. Yes, I would like to apologize to them that Small fact check to Miriam. It is not round. It is very much like me, slightly bulgy in the middle. Now, this is called an oblate spheroid, right? Because of all gravity and all, we have what in Tamil we call topai. And because of this, it's fatter in the middle, as all natural good things should be, and not on the top and bottom. I see a lot of people agree there. So because of that, when something is on the equator, it is taller, and that is exactly what happens here. Now, if you want to go from sea level, Chimborazo is only 6 kilometers, and Mount Everest is 8 kilometers, so difference is about 2. But if you're going from the center of the earth, there's 1.8 kilometers in difference, and Mount Chimborazo is actually taller. Now, Karthik, does this look good? That is Mount Chimborazo, looks fantastic, dude, and there you go. How much time does it take? Let's see, 7 to 8 hours. Ashte. That's it. 2 months now you don't need. You can just go up and come. Okay. And I checked this on Make My Trip for you. 1,24,000. Yeah, book it off right now. And extra $400 to climb there. That's okay. That's the same thing as a Starbucks coffee only. Okay, so not much. Now, our man makes it to Mount Chimborazo, the top of a volcano, takes a picture and he puts up a selfie. Standing on top of the tallest mountain on earth. Everybody's like, oh my God, Karthik, oh hottie, what's up, dude? South America. Fantastic. But unfortunately, there's Berty Ashley. He's like, hi bro, congratulations. Bring back this thing from Chimborazo. Unfortunately, you're wrong. You're not standing on the tallest mountain. He's like, hey, because of you only I came here. What are you saying, bro? I'm like, no, that's not the tallest mountain on the earth. This is the tallest mountain on earth. What are you saying? I can see the whole thing in one photograph. What do you mean it's the tallest mountain? Because 3/4 of it is underwater. Like for example, if Karthik is taller than me, what if I bury him in sand and say, hey, I am taller than him? Does it make sense? No, of course not, because he's half time in the sand, which is a good place to keep him in. So, now that is because it's 10,200 meters. But we see only 4,200 meters above sea level. That's why we don't think of it as tall. Anybody know where Mauna Kea is? Or what Mauna Kea is? Hawaii! Yes, the wonderful state named after our chapels in the middle of the North Pacific Ocean. Hawaii, the only US state to not have a straight line in its border. Fun fact. So, this is an actual picture taken from Hawaii, from that place, because on the left, as you can see, there is a wonderful planetarium and, telescope in the skies. In fact, they were so happy with it, they built 7 of them, right? And, yeah, they do have a Starbucks. Americans, I tell you. Now, Karthik, you have US visa. You can get it. Now, check this out. 7 to 8 hours round trip. Chimborazo was 7 to 8 hours to go to the top. In 8 hours, you can go up and come down. Okay, wow. Well done. And also, of course, I checked MMT. You get 3 nights Honolulu, 0 activity. Very important. 1,51,000. From Bangalore, directly to Honolulu, package and all you're getting. Okay, very, very cheap. And if you're even more lazy like me, you can actually drive to the top in a 4-wheel drive vehicle and get back the whole thing in 4 hours. Let's say our man makes it to the top, and then he puts his photo, standing on top of the tallest mountain on earth. I'm like, finally, Karthik, you have done it. Congratulations, you are standing on top of the tallest mountain on earth. Enjoy. And he's like having so much fun, all his friends, all the girls are like, oh my God, Karthik, so cool. And then he's like, oh, by the way, I've been to all the 3. This is the exact condition, and that's why I can confidently say I've been there. But then he gets a little cocky on the 1-year anniversary of the same thing on Instagram. He can't put the same thing again. So he puts up saying, standing on top of the tallest mountain in the solar system. Why? Why? Because I said, sorry, that's also not true. Because this is Mount Olympus on Mars, and it's 3 times taller than Mount Everest. It's so tall, in fact, that if it were in the Amazon, it will be a giant pimple. Yeah, very, very weird. But that's how tall it would be if it was in the Amazon, in the Everest, on Earth. But it's flat. It's absolutely flat, which means you can just saunter on top of it. Now, if anybody here can become friends with Elon Musk, it is our man Karthik. So, if you want to go to Mars and you want to do that thing, all you have to do is be friends with him. He'll take you to Olympus Mons. You can also then say that you're standing on top of the tallest mountain in the known universe. Congratulations, Karthik. But unfortunately, as of 2015, that's also not true. Because we discovered this in 2020, where there's a trans-Neptunian object which has a mountain that's so tall, 25 kilometers tall, that it actually shakes the whole planet as it goes around. So as of now, That is the tallest mountain. So Karthik, you have to go to some trans-Neptunian object to get your dreams come true. Okay? Now, having said all of this, I want to talk about this dude. Okay? George Mallory. Now, George Mallory attempted to climb Mount Everest in 1922. At that time, they didn't know about supplemental oxygen. Went up there, but could not go any further. He tried it again, and his entire party was killed in avalanche. 7 people died. He tried again in 1924, and then his friend Sandy Irwin and him, last known photograph of these 2 people, and they went up, and he never found them. Now, this is a picture on base camp, and that's Mallory. Now, Mallory had a wallet, and in his wallet, he had a picture of his wife, and then he had a Kodak camera. So he said, I'm going to go to the top, take a photo from Mount Everest, and then place the picture of my wife and come down. So that was what he always wanted to say. Now, he disappeared. We never found his body. Kodak still insists, because of the temperature conditions there, if you were to retrieve the camera, they can get the film and develop it. But the better way is to find his body, take out the wallet, and look for the picture. Because if he doesn't have the picture, it means he has submitted, placed a picture and gone back. But if the picture is still there, that means he died on the way up. Now, we still haven't discovered, we still don't know, so we're waiting for that. But before that, there was a journalist, a science journalist, and they were like, bro, Mallory, 2 times you tried. Okay, second time so many people were killed. You keep going up to this Mount Everest. It's not even in your own country, it's in a different country only. Okay, and the next time you tried, you almost died. Why do you keep doing it? Why do you climb Mount Everest? Do you know what was his answer? Excellent. He said, because it's there. It's there, so I want to climb it. I think that's how we should look at life from now on. If you see something in front of you which looks like a huge mountain is just looking down at you and you feel anxiety while looking at it, and something is, why do you want to do it? Well, because it's there. Why do you want to do something that is so stupid nobody else thinks about it? Oh, I want to do sumo wrestling. Why? Well, because it's there. Why do you want to take a bike and go all the way to Ladakh? Because it's there. So ladies and gentlemen, let me leave you with this. If there's something that doesn't seem correct, that seems like people are saying, why do you want to do it? All you have to tell them is, thank you ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of my talk.